eloquent. And this is something that we use all the time whenever we listen to music, whenever we watch film, whenever we read a book or newspaper or, news broadcasts. We do this anyway. So we can't not include also poetry, right? We should also use that same practice on poetry, because there are some questionable content out there when it comes to poems. And trust me when I say I've read a lot of those. And I choose not to read those poems on these lives because it's not worth my time. And it's not, if you want to read them, go ahead. And I'm not going to tell you the titles because you should find out for yourself, honestly. But, I try to filter out anything that is questionable, things that aren't healthy, things that are not going to edify someone's spirit. And, and really it comes down to this. Poetry tends to have this sort of manipulation of, shall we say, of sexuality and politics. And I think there's things in those two realms that, the writers themselves, they have only one objective, one agenda, which is to kind of like shock you and to bring attention to themselves and their ideology. And so it's no longer about the poem itself, it's more about like the actual message and the anguish behind it, right? And so, sometimes those guys like are going to be followed by people that follow their ideology, and so, kudos to them if they want to like follow them, that's fine. But that's one of the reasons why I don't like reading those types of materials, right? And that's not to say that I haven't read poems that are, so shall we say, sensual, right? Like that has like a nice sort of like habit of talking and describing, a woman or a man and the relationships that they have. There's a difference between like a tender type of love and one that is just based on, pure, shall we say, just highly graphic content, right? And so that's the stuff that I'm very weary of, and I choose not to read those type of poems. And there is plenty, especially from famous poets, by the way. And well, once again, they have their reasons, and you're welcome to read them on your own time, but it's not going to be read here. So okay, I want to read this one that's called If You Give Up. It's a fantastic poem, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And we are going to start in 3, 2, If you give up, what will that achieve? Will you feel like you've met your needs? And giving up can make you feel worse than losing a deal. And do you give in when things get hard? And throw up your hands with no regard, giving up on your dreams and no longer moving forward with any steam? When things get difficult for you, do you accept defeat too? And throw in the towel and say, no more. I've had it for the day. And when you never give up, you find solutions popping up. And yes, you may have to walk away, but only for one day. And sometimes taking a break is a good thing for your sake. And when faced with a challenging task, find others who can help. Just ask. When you never give up, you will find a success that is just like any other kind. If everything was easy and quick to do, there would be no satisfaction for you. You see, in life, we all must face times when we feel we are in the wrong place. But we never give up and accept defeat. For you will find determination is sweet. Here's another one that's similar theme. This is written by Martin Farquhar Tupper. All right. Never give up. It is wiser and better always to hope than once to despair. Fling off the load of doubt's heavy fetter and break the dark spell of tyrannical care. Never give up, or the burden may sink you, and Providence kindly has mingled the cup. And in all trials or troubles, bethink you. The watchword of life must be: never give up. Never give up. There are chances and changes helping the hopeful 100 to 1, and through the chaos, high wisdom arranges ever success if you'll only hope on. And through the chaos, high wisdom arranges ever success if you'll only hope on. Never give up, for the wisest is boldest. Knowing that Providence mingles the cup, and of all maxims the best is the oldest, is the true watchword of never give up. Never give up, though the grape shot may rattle, or the full thundercloud over your burst. Stand like a rock in the storm or the battle. Little shall harm you, though doing their worst. Never, ever give up. Though the grape shot may rattle, if adversity presses, Providence wisely has mingled the cup, and the best counsel in all your distresses is the stout watchword of never give up. That was Never Give Up by Martin Tupper. Martin Tupper. Alright guys, you know what to do. It's Sunday night, it's request line night. So, as per usual, every Sunday we read poems of your choosing. This is the night where you guys do the work, and I just sit back and read them. Sometimes I'll analyze them, sometimes I'll just read it. But you guys tell me the author and the title. Please don't say, read something by so-and-so. There's way too many choices here. And being the mind that I usually have over so many things to think about, you choose it. Every other night, I'll do the rest. But Sunday night request line, you pick the title, and I'll read it. Alright? So, take a few minutes, put it in the comments, and I'll put it on my screen, on my QE here. And once everybody's satisfied and we got everybody's selections, then we will read it in one fell swoop. Alright? Alright. Take a few minutes, let me know what poems. I'm gonna drink some tea, and y'all do the rest. So we're just gonna sit and stare at the screen while you guys are figuring out what poems you would like for me to read tonight. And meanwhile you do that, since I read 2 poems about never giving up, perhaps I can share. Perhaps I can share. Maybe not. I was gonna share a story about someone that seemed interesting, but I will wait till the time is right, so maybe not this evening. Alright. Yay! Some more Kipling. Anybody like here like have read some stuff that isn't like common? Where's Sandra, by the way? Sandra usually picks stuff that's like from like very, very special collections. Always very impressive, Sandra. I don't know if Sandra's in here, but like she has like some really good stuff. Hello, Kim. Nice to see you. Hopefully you'll last more than 2 minutes here, but nice to see you again, Kim. All right, so we got Kipling and we also have Robert Frost again. Anything else, guys? So, just 2 poems. Marvelous. By the way, Kim, hope you're doing well. How's our friend doing? I'm just kidding. I don't really want to know, honestly. Really don't want to know. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going well. And I'm surprised all of the Spanish speakers aren't saying anything in terms of what they would like for me to request. You know, I always get like a kickback from the Spanish speaking community. They always say I don't read enough Spanish poems, but then when I open it up and it's like, you know, I get 0 responses. It's like, cry wolf. Let's go. So far we got 2 poems. I read 2. And I do have some backup plans, by the way. So the rest of y'all are just gonna like sit and stare here? How wonderful. All right, so I guess we'll read Kipling and Frost. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. And long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. And then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. And though as far that the passing there had warned them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. And yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, and somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. There you go, coming to you live from the great, amazing southeastern United States, a live reading of The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you to the J. Roldán Speaks podcast. I want you to stick around. I want you to challenge yourself to listen to some really wholesome content that will stimulate your mind, that will help you learn some new words, look at life in a different perspective, and of course, edify your heart when it is vulnerable, when it is weak, and hopefully you will feel and learn just how wonderful these words that are written by some of the most amazing writers that have ever existed. And so, stick around and listen to these amazing works of art. If you didn't know this already, after this show, I want you to go to Spotify. I want you to look up my podcast. It's called J. Roldán Speaks. You're going to see a profile picture of my face. I want you to rate the show. I want you to comment. I want you to let me know what it is that you want to read in the future. If you have a suggestion on a couple of themes for the show, let me know. Leave a message. And if you want to follow it, if you want to support the show, please consider it. It's so helpful. It keeps this show alive and going. This is a listener-supported show, by the way, just so you know. So you should thank all my current subscribers. But there's a caveat. Sooner or later, that content will only be exclusive to subscribers. So right now, you can get a little taste, you can get a little preview, you can listen to the quality of some of the readings that are on the podcast. But then it will go private to only subscribers. So keep that in mind, all right? All right, guys. Shall we read the next one? Joyful Guy. Thanks for the suggestion. I love Rumi also, but why don't you give me a title? That would be so good. I would love it, man. I would be so thankful if you can give me a title, all right? So, how about my response to you is something by Rumi. Give me something by Rumi instead of anything by Rumi. All right? So, Sandra, guys, you guys should thank Sandra. She is the one that always comes up with some poems that are not the usual ones and are not very common. So give it up for Sandra. Thanks, Sandra, for being here. It's always good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. I hope everything's going well for you in your deck of the woods. And so we are definitely gonna put that in our QE here. Love Among the Ruins by Robert Browning. That man is fantastic. I have such respect for that man. And of course, his wife is amazing. If you don't know who his wife is, it's Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who is such a talented writer that has ever existed in this amazing, beautiful world. So definitely gonna put that in the QE for sure. Thank you so much. All right, so you're looking up Flannery O'Connor, sorry. Yeah, please do take your time, we're gonna be here for the next hour, so it's all good. It's all good. Hello, Nikki. Hope everything's going well for you as well. So, once again, those of you who don't know this, if this is your first time here, this is Request Line Sunday. So Sunday nights, it's all about you guys. It's all about what you are requesting. It's all about you, what you would like for me to read. Please keep in mind that there's only wholesome content here. So if there's material, if there's poems out there that is not suitable for this show, then unfortunately I will have to skip it. And well, thank you for the suggestion, but only good wholesome content is on here. So if there's anything X-rated, it will be X-rated, right? So it'll be omitted from this particular broadcast, but everything else is good. We're good, all right? So let me know. So far I read one poem by Robert Frost that was requested by one of the listeners here. And next is going to be Rudyard Kipling, and that will be read here momentarily. So that was also requested by a listener, and I hope you guys enjoy this reading. All right, keep in mind, those of you who are also new to the show, whenever I am reading, whenever I am analyzing some of these poems, I get so in the zone, so to speak, that I don't really read your comments. And it's not because I am ignoring it, it's because I'm just focused on the actual reading itself. So bear with me just for a few minutes while I read this. So if you request something while I'm reading it, you might have to request it again. So put it in the comments again, just so you know, okay? It's not because I'm ignoring you, it's just because I'm just totally focused on the poem, right? So this is all a performance, and so therefore I want these readings to sound and feel as authentic as possible, and also that it sort of resides with you, right? So I'm not sure what state of being that you guys are in, but I hope that there's something here that speaks to you from this performance, okay? All right. This is Rudyard Kipling, If. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about and don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master. If you can think and not make thoughts your aim. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. And twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. And if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, and if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. And if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute, and with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more? Mihobi Amen, my son. That was If by Rudyard Kipling. Same author who wrote The Jungle Book, just so you know. All right. Thank you so much for being here, guys. This is the Jay Roldan Speaks podcast. We are definitely not done, so don't go anywhere, guys. All right. So if you didn't know this, I have a Spotify account. Go there, search for it. It's called Jay Roldan Speaks. Follow it. It's gonna be good. Good for your soul. Good for your heart. Good for your mind. All good. All right. Thank you so much for all of you that are subscribing to it and also subscribing to this TikTok. But personally, I'd rather you go to Spotify. It's so much better. That's just my personal opinion. But I don't know. Maybe you like this better. I'm not sure. All right, guys. We are going to read some more requests. Those of you just tuned in, this is Sunday request line. That means you guys request the poem, I read them, and we move on. That's simple. All right? Maybe some analyzing, maybe some stories to share. But right now, it's all about reading what you guys want, and I'll read it. All right? I'll honor it by reading it, giving it a wholehearted reading performance and lots of passion and intellect. So hopefully you guys enjoy the show tonight. This is the Jay Roldan Speaks podcast. All right. Next on the QE, we must go to this amazing poem by Robert Browning, also requested by one of our listeners here. Her name is Sandra. Thank you so much again, Sandra. Hope you're doing well. And this is titled Love Among the Ruins. You ready? All right. Nathaniel will read this. Quiet-colored end of evening smiles, miles and miles, on the solitary pastures where our sheep, half asleep, twinkled homeward through the twilight, and stray or stop as they crop, was the sight once of a city great and gay, so they say, of our country's very capital. Its prince, ages since, held his court in, and gathered councils wielding far peace or war. And now the country does not even boast a tree, as you see, to distinguish slopes of verdure, and certain rills from the hills, and intersect and give a name to. Else they run into one, with the doomed and the domed and daring palace shot its spires up like fires, and over the 100-gated circuit of a wall bounding all. Made of marble, men might march on, nor be part, and pressed, and 12 abreast. And such plenty and perfection sea of grass never was, and such a carpet as this summertime overspreads and embeds every vestige of the city, guest alone, and stock or stone, where a multitude of men breathed joy and woe long ago. Lust of glory pricked their hearts up, and dread of shame struck them tame. And that glory and that shame alike the gold bought and sold. Now, the single little turret that remains on the plains, by the caper overrooted, by the gourd overscored, while the patching house sleek's head of blossom winks through the chinks, and marks the basement whence a tower in ancient time sprang sublime, and a burning ring all around. The chariots traced as they raced, and the monarch and his minions and his dames viewed the games, and I know, while thus the quiet-coloured eve smiles to leave to their folding and all our many tingling sparkling fleece, and such peace. And the slopes and rills in undistinguished grey melt away, that a girl with eager eyes and yellow hair waits me there. And in the torrent, whence the charioteers caught soul for the goal, and when the king looked where she looks now, breathless, dumb till I come. But he looked upon the city, every side, far and wide, and all the mountains topped it with temples, and all the glades, colonnades, and all the causeys and bridges and aqueducts, and then all the men. When I do come, she will speak not, she will stand, either hand on my shoulder, she will speak not, and she will stand. Either hand on my shoulder. Give her eyes with first embrace of my face, and ere we rush, and ere we distinguish, sight and speech, each on each. In 1 year they sent 1,000,000 fighters forth, south and north, and they built their gods a brazen pillar high as the sky, yet reserved 1,000 chariots in full force, gold of course. O heart, O blood that freezes, blood that burns earth's returns, for whole centuries of folly, noise, and sin shut them in, with their triumphs and their glories and the rest. Love is best. That was Love Among the Ruins by Robert Frost. An amazing poet, the husband, of course, of Elizabeth Browning, who was next in line to be Poet Laureate, who was only second to Lord Alfred Tennyson. If you're going to lose a position, you should probably lose it to the best. She's talented, and of course Robert is just as talented. An intellectual man and a conjurer of words themselves. I hope you enjoy yourselves. This is the J. Rolton Speaks podcast. Welcome to Sunday night where you request what poems you would like for me to read. Once again, I must apologize. Whenever I am reading, I do not read your comments because I am very focused on the reading itself. So now that I'm not reading it, now is your chance to request a poem. So if you have requested something in the comments before, please, with all your heart and with all your patience and your kindness and thoughtfulness, please request them again now. Especially while I'm drinking some tea. And yes, this is tea, by the way. Meanwhile, I will stall while you are typing and placing it in the comments. Please, once again, if you have a poem that you would like for me to read this evening, please do so now. Ooh, looks like we have a request. This is A Garden by the Sea. Excellent. By William Morris. An excellent choice. Well done. That is in the QE. Excellent. Ooh, some She Walks in Beauty. By Lord Byron, of course. Oh, Joyful Guy Wanted. Choose to Love You in Silence, of course. Haven't read that in a long time. Anything else? Remember, Sunday nights is request night. You do the work, I just read. Every other day, I'll do the rest. So please, do not oblige me to do the work for you. All right, the guest house. Excellent. That is actually a great one. Where's this dude? Yes, I shall definitely honor that request by Rumi himself. Alright, so far 4 requests. Any more? Once again, if you are just tuned in to this live, please understand that when I am reading, I do not read the comments because I am concentrated on the readings themselves. So, if you would like something for me to read this evening, please wait until I am done reading, and then you can request the poems that you would like read. Excellent? All right. All right, let me change the music. Alright, so this next one is A Garden by the Sea by William Morris, written in 1891. Are you ready? Here we go. I know a little garden close, set thick with lily and red rose, where I would wander if I might, from dewy morn to dewy night, and have one with me wandering. And though within it no birds sing, and though no pillared house is there, and though the apple boughs are bare of fruit and blossom, would to God feet upon the green grass trod, and I beheld them as before. There comes a murmur from the shore, and in the close 2 fair streams are drawn from the purple hills afar, and drawn down unto the restless sea, and dark hills whose heath bloom feeds no bee, and dark shore no ship has ever seen, and tormented by the billows green, whose murmur comes unceasingly, unto the place for which I cry, and for which I cry both day and night. For which I let slip all delight, and whereby I grow both deaf and blind, careless to win and unskilled to find, and quick to lose what all men seek. Yet tottering as I am and weak, still have I left a little breath to seek within the jaws of death an entrance to that happy place, to seek the unforgotten face, once seen, once kissed, and once reft from me, anigh the murmuring of the sea. There you go. That was A Garden by the Sea by William Morris. Thank you for the request. I hope you enjoyed it. Shall we move to the next? Alright, give me 1 second. This is She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. She walks in beauty, like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspects in her eyes, and thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, and one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tree's tress. How softly lightens over her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express, and how pure, how dear their dwelling place, and on that cheek and over that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, and but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. Excellent choice, thank you for that suggestion. Alright, I'm going to read a poem, several actually, by Rumi. You ready? Wait. I choose to love you in silence, for in silence I find no rejection. And I choose to love you in loneliness, for in loneliness no one owns you but me. And I choose to adore you from a distance. For in distance will shield me from pain. And I choose to kiss you in the wind. For the wind is gentler than my lips. And I choose to hold you in my dreams. For in my dreams you have no end. This one's titled The Guest House. Same poet. This being human is a guest house. And every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, and some momentary awareness comes. As an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight, the dark thought, the shame, the malice, and meet them at the door laughing and invite them in, and be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. That was titled The Guest House by Rumi. Thank you for that request, by the way. Excellent poems. Well done. This is Sunday night request line. This is the Jay Roldan Speaks podcast. If you didn't know this already, this is where you guys request a poem that you would like for me to read. I just straight up read it. Sometimes I'll analyze it, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll share stories, sometimes I won't. But it's all about what you guys would like for me to read. Please understand that it's only wholesome content here, so please, if there's anything that is questionable, I will filter it. But by and large, most of the requests have been fantastic. Well done to all of you that have requested some really amazing poems. So thank you so much for those requests. Once again, this is the Jay Roldan Speaks podcast. You guys, let me know in the comments what poem you'd like for me to read, and I'll read it. Simple as that. What part of the world am I? I'm in the United States, East Coast. In the South. By the way, I want to say a special shout out to some of my Oslo friends in Norway. Thank you so much for following the podcast. It's always great to hear from you guys. Although I have to say, I'm kind of missing some of your comments, you know? Some of you guys don't really like to speak up a lot. But once again, thank you so much for all of the wonderful messages that you've been leaving on my podcast. And as well as my Johannesburg friends in South Africa. Thank you so much for your kindness. Thank you so much for your words. I hope you guys are doing well and that you continue to support the show. Once again, this is a listener-supported show, guys. I mean, this is by and large supported by all the subscribers so far. And if you didn't know this, I do have a Spotify account. So go there after the show. Look me up. It's called Jay Roldan Speaks. You're going to see a picture of my face and rate the show, leave a comment. And if you would like to support the show, please do so. All right. Sooner or later, it's going to go exclusive for all my subscribers. So just FYI, you can get a little taste of it right now. So if you like it, support it. All right. This world needs some wholesome content, more and more of it. Right. So just a thought. All right. Thank you so much for those suggestions once again. Thank you so much. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for subscribing to Spotify. Awesome. Are you asking if I have an actual job? Yeah, I do. Yeah, this is a side hustle if you will. But I actually enjoy these actually. And if the good Lord lets me do this full time someday, that would be awesome. But I definitely need a lot more supporters for that. So definitely not leaving my job ever if I don't have enough support for this material. But no, it's good. I do love my profession. It's awesome. It's amazing. And I'm very thankful for it. So, yeah, this is definitely something that I like to do recreationally. It started out actually as a dare from one of my friends, and looks like I'm winning the dare actually. We've been doing this for almost 2 years, so it's been a great experience. I'm definitely enjoying it. I've hardly felt burnout. The only time I felt burnout when it was like I was in the middle of my academic semester, and just things tend to accumulate there, or all the kinds of responsibilities that, once again, I love it, but it's I get tiresome. I don't have enough energy to do the podcast sometimes during the evenings. But anyway, this is great. Good stuff. All right. So you're requesting a poem? Tomorrow Never Starts. That sounds like what I say at night before I leave my podcasts. I always tell my listeners, if I don't see them tomorrow, etc., etc. Anyway, that's very interesting. Cool. This looks interesting. I never read this before. Fantastic. Yeah, that's definitely in my QE. Any other requests, guys? Once again, this is Sunday night request line, and this is the Jay Roldan Speaks podcast. If you would like for me to read a poem this evening, just put in the title of the poem in the comments. And if you would, let me know who wrote it, the poet, and I'll put it out here on my screen, on my QE, and I'll read the poem, right? As long as it's wholesome, just FYI, okay? By and large, most of the requests have been wholesome. I've only had one experience where one particular request was not suitable, but that's rare, right? I haven't experienced that for months and months. So thank you so much to all of you that have given me some really wonderful comments. I really, really enjoy those, and I appreciate them very much. And if this is your first time here, usually I read poems that I have chosen, and there's usually a theme, and there's a lot more short stories to be shared. But Sunday nights is sort of like my laid back time, and so I rather you guys let me know what poems you like for me to read, and I just straight up read them, right? Not much pedagogical approach, just straight up reading, and for wholesome edification, right? Edifying your hearts as well as stimulating your mind intellectually as well. So here we go. All right. All right, so looks like we're gonna read If Tomorrow Starts Without Me. Yeah, that's right. If Tomorrow Starts Without Me. And let me pick a track here that might be suitable for this one. Let me check out the track real quick. 1 second. All right, I think we got it. One more time, here we go. 5, 4. If tomorrow starts without me, and I'm not here to see, and if the sun should rise and you find your eyes all filled with tears for me. I wish so much you wouldn't cry the way you did today, while thinking of the many things we didn't get to say. I know how much you love me, as much as I love you. And each time that you think of me, I know you will miss me too. But when tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my name and took me by the hand. He said my place was ready in heaven far above, that I'd have to leave behind all those I dearly love. But as I turned and walked away, a tear fell from my eye. For all my life, I'd always thought I didn't want to die. I had so much to live for, so much left yet to do, and it seemed almost impossible that I was leaving you. And I thought of all the yesterdays, the good ones, and the bad. And I thought of all the love we shared and all the fun we had. If I could relive yesterday, just even for a while, I'd say goodbye and kiss you and maybe see you smile. But then I fully realized that this could never be. For emptiness and memories would take the place of me. And when I thought of worldly things I might miss come tomorrow, I thought of you, and when I did, my heart filled with sorrow. And when I walked through heaven's gates, I felt so much at home. God looked down and smiled at me from his great golden throne, and he said, "This is eternity, and all I've promised you. Today your life on earth has passed, but here life starts anew. I promise no tomorrow, but today will always last, and since each day is the same, there's no longing for the past." You have been so faithful, so trusting, and so true, though there were times you did some things you knew shouldn't do. You have been forgiven, and now at last you're free. So won't you come and take my hand and share my life with me? So when tomorrow starts without me, don't think we're far apart. For every time you think of me, I'm right here in your heart. Wow. Wow. You know, when I was 15 years old, I lost my mother. It was a strange season. And I remember feeling that heaviness of sadness, sorrow, and then it turned into like this anguish and bitterness. I didn't want anyone or anything to speak of my mother. Until one of my family members found this little tiny note on her desk. And it was in this diary that she liked to keep. And when my family member read it, I almost couldn't believe that that was the last thing that she wrote. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, I really don't know. But it was like in her handwriting, and it was on that page that was open. And it was a verse from Proverbs, or I'm sorry, Psalm, and it was from chapter 118, verse 17. And this is what it said. I shall not die, but live, and declare the works of the Lord. Let me tell you one of the coolest things about that woman. We lived in 9 different countries. Most of them in the Middle East. I remember the day that we buried her body. There were people that were paying their respects to that wonderful woman in my life. And they all came from every single country that we lived in. And that's when I realized just how impacting she was to these people. I didn't even know them. This woman had a very amazing quality that reached out to another person. She always made them feel welcome, wanted to learn their language, their habits. I still remember her face whenever she was like avidly trying to learn the languages from the countries that we were living in. And she was really good at it, by the way. And she was definitely a jokester for sure. But the best part about that woman is she had a very strong faith, a very strong ideology. And as welcoming and loving as she was true to her ideals, which is why she was the best mom. She knew what it meant to be a wife, a mother. You see, you need a pillar like that in a household. And by the way, my dad is just as amazing, by the way, and he's still alive. One of the greatest characteristics that came and was practiced by her is something that the poem mentions, actually, and that's being merciful. You see, this woman wasn't just about being kind-hearted and like making people feel welcome. You see, I remember she had these really heated debates with some of the folks that she befriended, okay? But in the end, she was a very merciful woman. And I think that's what made her very likable. And someone that a lot of people wanted to know more of and be friends with. And I never saw that more true until the day of her burial. Like I said, I don't know half of these people that came to her funeral, but they were from all the places that we lived in, you know? It's amazing. My dad was definitely married a great woman, you know? Good stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for suggesting that poem by David Romano. The title is If Tomorrow Starts Without Me. I may end up doing actually a separate recording for this one. This one definitely spoke to me very much, so be on the lookout on Spotify for this particular recording sometime this week. Alright? Once again, this is titled If Tomorrow Starts Without Me by David Romano. Once again, thank you so much. Alright, looks like we have another request. Sarah Tisdale. Anything else? Let's see, what did I miss? Don't entertain half flowers. Yeah, that's fine. I'll read it. I gotta do the plug. This is the Joe Roland Speaks podcast, guys. Those of you who are new to this channel, this is where we read poems. I share stories, show you how I analyze some of these works, and you do the same. Let me know what you think about some of these poems. Let me know how you're feeling about these poems, and we move on to the next set of great works of art. This is Sunday night, which means it is a request line Sunday. So if there is a poem that you would like for me to read, put it in the comments, put it in the chat, and let me know the title. And if you know the poet, then do the same, right? So title and poet, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for that. And we read them. All right. So usually on request line Sunday nights, I don't really analyze them that much. I just straight up read them. It's just pure performance. And so hopefully you guys enjoy it, right? All right. Let's see what else we have here. So we have a Sarah Tisdale poem, Request, and Don't Entertain Half Lovers by Khalil Gibran. What else? Have I heard what before? I think I missed your previous comment. You talking about the Khalil Gibran one? Yeah, I've read that several times actually on previous lives. So yeah, I'm very familiar with that one. If that's the one that you're talking about, but you know. All right. Oh, If Tomorrow Starts Without Me. No, I definitely haven't. All right, I'm gonna read The Kiss by Sarah Tisdale with this track. I don't know if it's gonna work. It's definitely a little more R&B for my usual tastes, but I don't know, this might work actually. We'll see. We'll try it. Let's check it out. Let's see. Before you kiss me, only the winds of heaven had kissed me, and the tenderness of rain. Now you have come, and how can I care for kisses like theirs again? And I sought the sea, and she sent her winds to meet me. And they surged about me, singing of the south. And I turned my head away to keep still, holy, in your kiss upon my mouth. And swift, sweet rains of shining April weather found not my lips where living kisses are. And I bowed my head, lest they put out my glory, as rain puts out a star. And I am my love's, and he is mine forever, sealed with a seal and safe forevermore. Think you that I could let a beggar enter where a king stood before? That was actually in the form of a question. Think you that I could let a beggar enter where a king stood before? Of course not. Once you've met and have tried and are with someone so precious, you cannot defile their throne with something or someone of lesser quality. And yes, preciousness is a form of quality. It may not have an exact quantifiable number, but the quality itself is there, right? And so Sarah Tisdale was spot on with this particular phrase, right? It's a question that almost needs no answer, but at the same time should be answered. Why would I replace, right? Like, this is her asking the question, why would I replace you with a beggar where a king stood before, right? This is what I mean by like this amazing type of like etiquette, the quality before, like especially like around the 1940s and 50s. Like, there was actually a courtship that was still practiced, by the way. And it's sad to see that there's some modern day thinking that sort of deprives and lies to certain genders about the quality and the goodness and the wholesomeness of courtship, as if that is like oppressive. Are you kidding me? There's nothing oppressive about it. This is about actually like understanding the quality of one another, of understanding what it means to like actually spend some time with someone, to understand like not only them but their family. You see, when you court somebody, you are in the presence of family members. Do you understand what that means? Like, you are going to be part of each other's family, so therefore you need to be in the presence of their family, whether you like it or not. But we've gotten to an age where it's like, no, right? Like, people shy away from that. And in fact, I know plenty of both men and women, by the way, that equate that as kind of like a "you're moving too fast" narrative. If that's the case, then you should not be looking for a long-term relationship. Period. And it's also kind of sad to know that like people who think like that automatically get equated with like old school thinking. There's nothing old school about it. That's the way it should be. That's how it's always been. You court before you actually marry someone. Period. What's the problem? Anyway. Leave it up to Sarah Tisdale to make those thought-provoking statements, right? Nah, she's amazing. She really is. I really like Sarah Tisdale a lot. I usually read a lot of her work on throughout the week, but this one's definitely one of my favorites for sure, right? Anyway. Great selection. Thank you for that suggestion again. All right, we're gonna do a poem by the Lebanese American. His name is Khalil Gibran, and this doesn't really have a title, but it's based on the first line of the poem, which is "Do not love half lovers." So, you want a Walt Whitman poem? Sure, I'll put that on the QE. All right. Any other requests from anybody else? All right, so up next is a poem by Khalil Gibran. This is titled "Do Not Love Half Lovers." One second, I gotta check something out real quick. One second. I kind of like that, but not for this one. All right, here we go. Do not love half lovers, and do not entertain half friends. Do not indulge in works of the half-talented, and do not live half a life, and do not die half a death. If you choose silence, then be silent. And when you speak, do so until you are finished. Do not silence yourself to say something, and do not speak to be silent. And if you accept, then express it bluntly. Do not mask it. If you refuse, then be clear about it. For an ambiguous refusal is but a weak acceptance, and do not accept half a solution. Do not believe half-truths. Do not dream half a dream. Do not fantasize about half-hopes. Half a drink will not quench your thirst. Half a meal will not satiate your hunger. Half the way will get you nowhere. Half an idea will bear you no results, and your other half is not the one you love. It is you in another time, yet in the same space. It is you when you are not. Half a life is a life you did not live. A word you have not said, a smile you postponed, a love you have not had, a friendship you did not know. To reach and not arrive, work and not work, attend only to be absent. What makes you a stranger to them closest to you, and they strangers to you? The half is a mere moment of inability, but you are able, for you are not half a being. You are a whole that exists to live a life, not half a life. That was Khalil Gibran, Do Not Love Half Lovers. Pretty straightforward. That's why you should love and do and think and speak and stay silent with purpose, with intentionality. You know, many of you have heard the very famous Latin quote, especially made famous by the Dead Poets Society, right? By John Keats, right? Carpe diem, all these things. I think those are good, right? I think those are like, they have good intentions, right? But sometimes to seize the day is also to remain silent. We definitely underestimate the quality and the benefits of remaining silent, especially in this culture, right? I mean, and by the way, I want everybody to know, like, I'm an American citizen, so like, I totally love like the mentality here. But there's also some things that like aren't that great either, right? Like this whole idea of like speaking your mind and like no matter what, right? I think those are good intentions, but there's some moments where it's like, wait a minute, maybe this right now, this little part right now, just like kind of hold back a little bit, right? Like don't speak your mind, like kind of like use your inner voice, right? Like just listen, right? Just listen until there's nothing left to listen to. And when the other party starts to become silent, then you can engage in conversation, right? Like this is what makes a good conversation. This is what makes a good conversationalist. someone that learns how to listen. Right? Which is something that Khalil Gibran actually proposed in this poem. If you choose silence, then be silent. And when you do speak, do so until you are finished. Anyway, just a thought. All right. Next poem is, by the way, those of you who just tuned into the live, thank you so much for being here. I hope you are enjoying the show. This is the Jay Roldan Speaks podcast. After the show, go to Spotify, look me up. It's called Jay Roldan Speaks. You'll see a picture of my face and follow. All right, subscribe to it. It's good content. If there's any of you that are listening from far away, let me know, right? I want to say a special shout out once again to all my Oslo friends in Johannesburg. And if there's anybody else from another country that is listening in, let us know where you're from. I'll give you a special shout out as well. If in the future you would like for me to read a poem in your native language, I will do my best to practice it, but I can't guarantee that I'll nail it, so to speak. But I definitely love reading poems in its original language. There's something really amazing about the original way it is supposed to be read. There's a different type of sentiment that is emitted, and a, shall we say, a more inclusive way of passing down information and the intonation of it, and just something very special about the original way it is written. So anyway, if you have a request, all right. Thanks for being here, guys. I'm looking forward to this next poem. This one's by Walt Whitman. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not been ever exposed to Walt Whitman, please do me a favor, go to your local library, or if you have access to, obviously, online, hopefully you can find some excerpts, right? Like little samples of Walt Whitman's, one of his greatest collections, which is called Leaves of Grass. I'm telling you, you're gonna be so lost in that thing. It's gonna be a trip. Let's just put it that way. It's gonna be a trip, and you guys are gonna really like it, I think. If not, look, there's only two outcomes for Walt Whitman. You either really like him or you really hate him. And if you really hate him, you're eventually gonna really like him, because he knows how to provoke you and then finds a way to really be friends with you. So it's really fantastic. And if you really like him, then good for you. But I honestly believe, this is just my personal take, but I honestly believe Walt Whitman doesn't really like people who like him. I think he admires more people that don't like him, because he wants to challenge them, right? He wants to sort of get them to not agree with him, so that he can have this dialogue with you, and then eventually you'll kind of like him. And then when he realizes, this is just me speaking from my own scholarly head here, and I feel like when he's gotten you to like him, then he's done with you, and it's all right, well, I'm gonna talk to somebody that doesn't like me now. It's really interesting, I really would love to have an opportunity to see what he was like in life, if that was ever possible. But anyway. All right, so this one's titled "Oh Me, Oh Life." Oh me, oh life. The questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish, of myself forever reproaching myself. For who more foolish than I, and who more faithless? of eyes that vainly crave the light of the objects mean, of the struggle ever renewed, of the poor results of all, of the plotting and sordid crowds I see around me, of the empty and useless years of the rest, and the rest me intertwined. The question, oh me, so sad recurring, what good amid these, oh me, oh life? Answer, that you are here, that life exists and identity, that the powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse. Oh Me, Oh Life by Walt Whitman. You know, I feel a riff coming on, y'all. I feel a riff coming on. My precious love, have my words fallen into your heart yet? Have they nestled and its seed sprung and elevated towards the sun? I want to see you bloom towards me. I want my verses to nourish your soul, and you may hum my tunes throughout the day. I want every song to be the thoughts that I wrote of you. I want every intonation to be subtle kisses, kissing your lips, your cheeks, your eyes, and your neck, your shoulders, your precious, precious hands. And I want you to remember me this way. So whenever you are in doubt, you may remind yourself of how my words painted a portrait of me. This is the J. Roland Speaks podcast. Sometimes I do something called an improv. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it usually comes out of a riff from a previous poem. And the poem that I was riffing off of was Walt Whitman's "Oh Me, Oh Life," particularly where he actually says, "You may contribute a verse. Powerful play goes on." And I really like that idea, right? Like contributing a verse, right? Contributing a verse. For him, this poem was about contributing to life itself, right? And sometimes I feel like as men, like there's this also of similar practice where we want to contribute a verse to the women that we are desiring, right? The woman that we are desiring. And I think there's something very precious about that act, right? I think there's something very unique, and we don't really think of it that way as a poetic and metaphorical sense, but I think there's something very important about a man's heart that displays himself in that regard. It's like, I want you to remember me by the words that I share with you, and I want them to be a verse that is going to be implanted in your heart, right? Like, so that if you forget me, right, at least you'll know that this is what I always was with you. And it may not be something that you desire, but eventually you'll realize that this was something that gave you an idea and a blueprint for the next relationship that you are wanting. Or maybe you don't even realize that that's what you are wanting, but at least there's this embedded tribute of you that came from someone else, and now it's a verse embedded in your heart, right? Anyway, at least that's how I like to share words sometimes. Again, this is the J. Roland Speaks podcast. Thank you so much for being here, guys. All right, I got room for maybe one or two more, and I hope that you guys use this time wisely. All right, let me know what poem you'd like for me to read, because I am running out of steam and I need to rest. So if you would, let me know what poem you would like to end this live with, and I'll honor it as much as possible. All right, you guys do that while I finish my cup here. All right. So, since there's no help, is that are you? Is this a poem? I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, it is. Since There's No Help, by Michael Drayton. This is interesting. Nice. Wait, I gotta review this real quick if this is PG-13 here. One second. All right, very nice. Yeah, I'll definitely read this one. I think you guys will like this one, actually. All right, let me find a track here for this poem. One second. Since there's no help, come and let us kiss and part. Nay, I have done. You get no more of me. And I am glad, yea, glad with all my heart, that thus so cleanly I myself can free. Shake hands forever, cancel all our vows, and when we meet at any time again, be it not seen in either of our brows that we one jot of former love retain. Now at the last gasp of love's latest breath, when his pulse failing, passion speechless lies, and when faith is kneeling by his bed of death, and innocence is closing up his eyes. And now, if thou wouldest, when all have given him over, and from death to life, thou mightest him yet recover. Blanquita. There can never be another. I know there was something in there that you needed from me. And I know you felt that deep-rooted love that I had for you. You know what makes love really amazing? Is that when you truly, truly and deeply love someone, no matter how many years have passed, no matter what the challenges were, no matter what the pain and the turmoil has been, if there is true repentance and sorrow and a regret, restoration is a natural and essential part of loving someone, especially when it comes to remembering how and who you are with them. I don't even know if you'll ever hear this, Blanquita, but I know that I'm the same guy I was before, currently, and for how many ever days, months, and years. I have a special place in my heart for you. Truly. So, if you ever want to dwell there again. Be happy. Be happy to chat with you again. Anyway, this has been a really great live, guys. Thank you so much for being here. This is the J. Roland Speaks podcast. Don't forget, go to Spotify, find my podcast. It's called J. Roland Speaks. You won't regret it. I'm telling you, there's some really great content on there, especially stuff that's not on my TikToks. Those stuff is even better. You think this is good? Spotify's even better. Check it out, right? Really look at all the episodes. I know there's something there that you'll like. And please consider supporting the show, because eventually it will be only exclusive for my current subscribers. So if you want to be part of that, join us. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you had a wonderful time. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I always say at the end of my lives, if I don't see you again, this has been an absolute pleasure. This has been an absolute delight. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to get to read poems, share some of my thoughts, share some stories. And thank you so much for all of you that requested some really great poems tonight. I'm so impressed. And I just can't say enough about just how amazing these works of art are. I hope to leave a great legacy for future generations, especially those in my circle of family and even my own kin. And so I want to only produce content that is wholesome and things that will edify the heart and also grow the mind in terms of learning and teaching. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and learn something new every time you listen to these lives. This has been a great delight of mine, and I want to say a special thank you to all of my Spanish speakers. Un millón de gracias. Gracias por estar aquí. Espero que lo disfrutaron. Y como siempre les digo, que Dios le bendiga. Dios es todopoderoso y tiene un sabiduría que no hay igual. Así que si acaso tú estás perdido y estás queriendo amor en tu vida, les ruego que lean la Biblia, porque hay un mensaje que tiene un amor de mucho, a ver, ¿cómo te puedo decir? Un sentimiento que es sin igual. Y bueno, se van a dar cuenta que Dios siempre lo ha amado desde el principio. Así que si tú tienes un corazón apenado que quiere arrepentirse de sus deseos egoístas, hay algo que te está hablando, ¿cierto? Entonces siempre tienes que perseguir la verdad y siempre tener en cuenta que, bueno, Dios no solamente es un Dios de amor, pero también de justicia. Así que espero que Dios le bendice en sus vidas. Espero que tú persigues la verdad absoluta. Y un gran abrazo para ustedes, ¿cierto? Así que nos vemos en la próxima, si Dios quiere. Alright, buddy. Thank you so much for being here. I gotta go. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful, wonderful day tomorrow. We'll see you next time. special a special treat for you guys, those of you stuck around. This is very unusual. I don't usually do these at the end of my lives, but I want to try something a little different, especially Sunday nights. I want to end my Sunday night request line with a song. And these aren't songs that are written by me. These are faith-based songs. And so I want to sing this one song that is very lovely. And you guys are welcome to listen to it. You don't have to. But like I said, this is a very unusual. I don't usually do this. So this is the first time I'm going to be singing a song at the end of the live. So anyway, I want to start like a little new tradition on Sunday nights. So we'll see if it goes well. But so give me a second while I grab Macarena. Those of you who don't know who Macarena is, you'll be introduced to her here in just a second. So 1 second. All right. I'm gonna try something different here. Let's see. All right. I don't know how loud this thing is gonna be, but I'm gonna give it a shot. All right, so like I said, this is very unusual. I don't usually do this at the end of the lives, but I feel led to do this one song, and I want to try to do this on Sunday nights. So we'll see if it works or not. But all right, here we go. Let me find the notes real quick. And we will get started here. 1 second. All right. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath
brother went to sleep. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Alright. Looks like it's not gonna cooperate. We'll do it off of memory. So, like I said, a little unusual, but I figure I played one song at the end of the lives just to, just to be honorable and thankful for the creator that allows me to do these things, So, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see if we'll do it again. Actually, let me see something. All right. One more treat. All right. All right, this is pretty short. It's also another praise song. And let's see. All right, let me see if I can plug this in here. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, here we go. back to you. You're all I want. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are near. You're all I want. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are near. Help me know you are near. Help me know you
Oh man, one more song. I promise. One more song. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. If I can, what if I can? The day is yesterday when you know how to build the walls that Good stuff, man. All right, I think that's enough for tonight. And let's see. All right, I'm gonna finish this with the song that I started out with, because everything that I do in my life, everything that I've been doing is to become more of an honorable man. And so I want my songs to reflect creator that gave me life. All right. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Give life, you love, bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. One more time.
Good night, everybody.